I was born in Germany when World War II had just begun. Many cities were being heavily bombed and reduced to ruins. Eventually, millions of people died, mostly men. Many husbands and fathers never returned. If they did, they came back mentally or physically handicapped. During the nights, we would hear loud sirens and run to the basement. Since we wouldn't know how long the attack would last, we would pick up a big pot of wheat porridge and sour pickle while hurrying to take shelter. When the bomb would hit the ground, loud sounds and shock waves could be heard from miles away. Even today, when I close my eyes, I can hear those sounds. It is amazing how our body can store our experience for a lifetime. Since the school buildings were destroyed and teachers were missing, we had no school to go, but children did not miss anything. It was actually the most fun part of my life. It took nearly 10 years to remove the masses of stone debris. In the interim years, we spent our time playing happily in these ruins, our unusual playground, discovering skulls and bones to play with. My only responsibility as an 18-year-old girl was to take care of the family-owned fruit orchards during the summer season, while my brother managed a zoo with guinea pigs, white mice, hamster, pigeons, and goldfish. My childhood was fun 24/7. 3 years later, when our school was somewhat re-established with substitute teachers, it took me some time to adjust. Anyway, it was not all bad because there was almost no full-time teachers. Most of them had died in the war, so the school was only open for a few hours a day. In the afternoon, we used to go to the textile store to help our mother. I was fascinated by the different waves of silk, wool, and cotton. I could make interesting patterns and sew almost anything effortlessly. It seemed like I was gifted in this art. I often heard people saying, "I'm going to India to find my guru." I thought it was weird. I too visited India, but my intention was to explore India in a different way as tourist. In January 2003, I came on guided tour of India with a group of 45 people. We arrived in Chennai and visited Sri Aurobindo Ashram, Chidambaram Temple, the Parni Temple, several temples in Trichy, and many other places in Tamil Nadu. On the last day of the trip, while in the bus traveling from Trichy to Chennai, I saw several big posters of Sadhguru put up along the road. His face intrigued me. After we arrived at our hotel in Chennai, I asked the hotel manager, "Who's the man on those posters we saw on the way here?" He did not know Sadhguru either, but the cleaning lady standing next to him overheard our conversation and told him about Sadhguru. She informed us that Sadhguru would be giving a Mahasatsang on the beach near the Church of St. Thomas that very evening. This would be the last night of our trip. We were going to fly out the next morning. What a chance! I took a rickshaw and went to the event. I was surprised to see thousands of chairs arranged in the sand and rows of people standing with hands folded in namaskar, welcoming people in. The sun was setting, looking like a big red fireball above the ocean. A bearded man silently walked into the dais. "So he is Sadhguru," I thought curiously. He spoke in Tamil, a language I didn't understand, but I was not interested in his words. Just sitting there under the miraculous sunset was a feast. For the last 15 minutes of Sadhguru's talk, I fell into a kind of trance and felt totally energized. On the way out, I bought a book, Encounter the Enlightened, and the next morning I took my flight back to US. A month later, I visited a big yoga center near where I lived. While in their shop, I was amazed to see Sadhguru's photo in a magazine entitled Enlightenment. It was an announcement for a 7-day program that was to be conducted by Sadhguru in Princeton, New Jersey in March 2003. I joined the program. Though I was skeptical about spiritual gurus in general, I still sat without making any conclusion. And the week passes quickly, I returned home energized and with some tools to live better. In the May 2003, I did BSP with Sadhguru in Michigan, US. During the program, Sadhguru talked about how accumulated knowledge can become like a wall. It released me from some negative emotions I had been carrying within me since childhood. I had a brother who had a photographic memory. He was a brilliant student. He skipped 2 years of school and was still top of the class. He would read 3 books a day and repeat what he had read to us with a lot of pride. With him next to me, I used to feel stupid. When I heard Sadhguru say that acquired knowledge is a limited value and is not needed to move inward, it deeply impacted me. In September 2003, I was thrilled to be a part of the Dhyana Yatra group. It was an unforgettable experience, with Sadhguru also joining us. Traveling by bus on those winding roads, seeing so many sadhus, saints, and devotees, trekking up the Kedar temple with Sadhguru, encountering the white facade of the temple, all these events and more are still in my memory. I remember when I entered the Kedar temple with folded hands and bowed to the shrine, all of a sudden there was no world around me. My legs started to tremble and tears started to pour down. In 2004, I participated in a special program with Sadhguru called Vaibhav Shiva, a celebration of a glorious ways of Shiva. It was a priceless experience where I felt my being had been enriched in unknown ways. I also had a fortune to attend Leela, which I felt was just a glimpse of who Krishna could be. In this program, Sadhguru said that in order to play, we need a heart full of love, a joyful mind, and a vibrant body. I'm still working on that. In around 2008, a longing arose within me to walk the path of Brahmacharya. I felt like I was a drop in an ocean, the ocean that Sadhguru is, and Brahmacharya will enhance the possibility of merging with this ocean. Though I acknowledged I wasn't perhaps young anymore, but I remained open to the possibility and applied for it. In 2010, I went back to the US to attend the 3 months program at the Isha Institute of Inner Science. I committed myself to it absolutely, and the reward of doing 90 days of sadhana under the guidance of Sadhguru had an everlasting effect on me. Sadhguru often spent 5 or 6 hours in a day with us. It was a dream come true. It was a priceless process. I felt that I am a small temple in a spiral of creation, where each spiral reflects the same original creation. In 2011, in March, I was asked to see Sadhguru. "How old are you?" he asked me as soon as we sat down to talk. I told him my age, and he smiled and hugged me. Within 5 days of the brief meeting, I was asked to go into Brahmacharya Sadhana, the greatest gift I have received in my life. Totally outside of my expectation, Sadhguru initiated me into sannyas instead after a few days of sadhana. My deepest gratitude to Sadhguru for accepting me on this path with all my shortcomings. It's a historic time to be a part of a consecrated ashram space when Sadhguru is here, reaching out to millions and offering transformational tools to all of humanity. Learning from me is an open field and never complete. But under the guidance of Sadhguru, he who knows, it's a blessing to be here. 2 years ago, I climbed up the 7th hill with Sadhguru's grace. Next year, I will be 80 years old and still on and loving life.